For those Townstar fans waiting to play the new Godot version, good news. According to Townstar, you're going to be playing it possibly as early as this week. We're going to look at the details of that, talk a little bit about the game and some of the structural changes and what's coming for Townstar. All that on today's Frugal BC. All right, what's up, guys? Frugal BC coming at you. We are talking Townstar today, and we are talking about some surprising news. I did not think it was coming because it just seemed to be put off and off, but it turns out you might be playing that Townstar playtest really soon, possibly as early as this week. That's right. Now, I'm going to break down who's going to be eligible in the next playtest, when that's going to be available, and then we're going to go through some of the various things, kind of a review of some of the details, and then also some other new stuff coming in Townstar. Also going to give my view, kind of overall on the game, whether I think it's still worth it to play or not. Before we do that, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to see all our Townstar, our Algorand, our HBAR updates, and just kind of other general crypto news. We do a live stream on Saturdays as well on 4:30 p.m. CST time. That is Chicago time or that time zone. So hope to see you there. By the way, got merch, got plenty of deals for you in the description. So go check that out, including how you can invest in real estate on chain. And also my NifGen subscription, so service where you can get extra videos and see my portfolio review. But enough of that. Let's get into this, because according to the most latest Townstar AMA, the playtest should be opening up to nearly everyone as early as this week. Now, we've heard that before from Townstar, so I'm always a little distrustful when they say this week. I think maybe it'd be next week. But apparently they're going to open up to anybody who earned an NFT in the last month. No, you earn that NFT by playing at least 10 days. According to Townstar, that particularly Farmer Michelle in Townstar, that's just about everybody who's currently playing. So if you've been playing and you played at least 10 days in February, you're going to be eligible for the next round of the play test. And a lot of us have been asking, like, what does the next tier look like? Who's it going to be opened up to? I find it really interesting that the way they word this is like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to open it up to this certain demographic of people, like almost like burying the news. Like, that's the stuff everybody's been waiting for. It's so weird that they just, the way they do it. By the way, that is Townstar in the background. They just have, sometimes just think they're clueless about what people are actually waiting in these AMAs for. But anyway, happy that it will hopefully be happening. And also, you've probably been wondering about that town to Gala conversion, because that was supposed to happen a couple of weeks ago and still waiting. Apparently there were some last minute bugs to fix, but that should be fixed soon. So they're going to fix those last minute bugs, and then you will be able to convert your town to Gala, because town is going away. I don't know. I'll just review that really quick. They're getting rid of town because they shut down the earn function back in July of last year. And they were looking at the ways to fix the economy, because the economy crashed, because basically the only thing people used town for was to sell to get cash. So that doesn't really create a very healthy ecosystem. So now they're going to Gala instead, which is used across all their other games and projects and stuff too. So that means it should be more stable theoretically. So you're going to earn in Gala, not town. And just to review, the NFTs for town are pretty much staying the same. You will earn on the old ones, then any new ones that they're selling now, you don't earn on. So keep that in mind. So you might be wondering, when does earn turn back on? Well, they hinted that it's possible in April. My guess would be it would be May or June, just because it seems to be a good heuristic to take whatever timeline they give you and add at least 2 or 3 weeks, if not more, to what they actually say. Same for Townstar. In fact, someone in the Discord actually said, oh, they launched it January 31st, like they said, the Godot playtest. I'm like, no, they didn't. It came out mid-February, which, these things happen. I understand, but I think they tend to be a little unrealistic about their timeframes when they give some of these estimates. So just to review, some of you may not be familiar with Godot. Godot is the new version of Townstar. It's going to work on servers and not in your browser. I think it's still played in your browser, but the difference is, like, it'll actually be running no matter what. So as you know, Townstar is kind of a background game, and you can leave it kind of going in the background. You could call it an idle game. It's pretty much is an idle game, but I have to leave it on. So if you're playing the competitions, you got to have it on all the time. Godot will solve that. It also look a lot better, be a lot more secure. They'll be able to weed out some of the bugs and some of the cheaters, some of the stuff that's going on with that. So that's very, very good. So like I said, I think Earn is going to be turning back on in probably May or June. I just don't have any faith in April. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll be happy to be wrong. So some thoughts about Gala and Townstar going forward. And I guess the central question is, should you invest anything into this game? And my response would be no. Now, here's some caveats. If you already own some of these NFTs for the game, and the old ETH NFTs are the ones that earn. So you can find those on OpenSeas. You can't buy them from Gala anymore. Any NFT that you either earn through Gala, from Gala through various ways, and we'll talk about that in a second, or that you buy on the platform directly, do not earn. So it's very important to keep that in mind. I'm going to show you the difference on the screen of what they look like. If you want one of those, like I said, you can go to OpenSea and buy them and import them into Gala. And right now they're way cheaper than they were back when Earn was turned on. So that's something to keep in mind too. I haven't bought any. I just can't put any money into this game. With Godot coming, I think the current version of the game is starting to become kind of an afterthought. And as Lycan Warlord often says, the game is still in beta. It's been out for a long, over a year, and it's still basically in beta. There's a lot of bugs. There's a bug when I turn on the game right now where there's like two windows that should be in the game that are overlaying the join the server thing. So I have to find a little spot in between to click them. I mean, that's just a little minor stuff that you just don't expect to see in a professional game, right? Actually, Lycan Warlord has some good ideas about some of the things that they could do to improve Townstar. It is really not beginner friendly. So this is another reason I would tell you don't bother investing in this game if you haven't already. There's two ways to earn. So actually 3 ways. One way to earn is to have one of these old NFTs and place it in the game and collect your, well, it won't be town points anymore. But collect your share of the Gala rewards for the day. And that's one you'd have to buy into even right now if you wanted to do that. And you'd have to go buy one of those OpenSea NFTs. Now, 2 other ways are both through the competition. So the first competition of the month is typically a Gala competition. So if you place in the top 1,000, then you can earn rewards. I will tell you, it is next to impossible to place in the top 1,000 without NFTs. Even with the NFTs you earn through playing, and I'll show you that in a second, it's really, really hard, if not impossible, to place in the top 1,000. Because there's people that they basically buy almost every NFT that Gala puts out. So as soon as they put it out, they buy. So they've got every NFT, and some of these NFTs, I mean, go watch some of these players and watch their builds. They're up and running really fast. They'll get their whole build done in less than 6-8 hours. Whereas if you don't have that, it just takes time to build up cash and points to be able to move up. And now they've got some of the features they've been introducing, like stuff costing stars. That makes it even harder because it gives a big advantage to the whales to be able to boost their towns even further. So you forget about earning that. You're just not going to unless you spend a lot of money in this game. The second way you could legitimately earn in this game, it's a little cumbersome, but the second competition, you earn NFTs for placing a certain amount. And now that's actually way more doable because the minimum requirements are top 4,500, which is just about everybody right now because there just aren't that many people playing the game. And you have to earn at least 50,000 stars, which is very, very doable even without NFTs. That's no problem. I the last competition I had, in the millions of stars, not nearly enough to place. I think I placed 1,500. And so, but you're not, 50,000, you could do that very easily. You could play it casually, not even having it running overnight, and you could easily get the 50,000 stars. But then you'd have to take that NFT and you'd have to go to OpenSea and sell it on there. And, you're not going to get a ton, but you could get something. I see them for sale up there. I'm not sure how much they sell, but they seem to sell a little bit. So that's the 3 ways you can earn, but none of them are particularly lucrative. So in my opinion, this game really isn't worth it unless you already own those NFTs and you might want to try to recover your costs. Is it a fun game? It's pretty fun. It's just not as fun. It doesn't make sense to be spending hundreds of dollars on a game like this. I don't understand it. So Lycan Warlord had some really good points. There's a lot of things they could do to make it more beginner friendly. They could have beginner and intermediate competitions where if you place above a certain amount, you have to move up to the next one. That's a pretty good strategy. It would help people who aren't going to spend a ton of money on these NFTs. It could help them get started. And, they might get into it. Maybe you want to buy them some of these NFTs, because otherwise I just don't see people spending so much on these NFTs, especially. So it's not like you can just go buy a lot of these right now. I mean, some you can get on OpenSea, but you can't buy them right from Gala. And that would be actually a really good way, but they're never going to do that because they make money on people just mindlessly buying these NFTs, which I don't understand. Some people, I guess, just have a lot of extra money they don't need and want to send it somewhere. To me, it seems like a total waste of money. So I want to talk just a little bit. I want to close things out with a little bit of thoughts on play to earn gaming in general. And I think I'm going to make a bigger video. This is something I've been thinking about for a while. When it comes to NFT games, I always thought the most logical approach would be that these assets would be NFTs. You would buy them just like you'd buy an in-game item, but the difference is they'd be on-chain and you would own them. And then there'd be some kind of economy, not necessarily a planned economy from the creators, but there'd be like an economy that springs up, kind of like in the old World of Warcraft days, where people would sell gold or they would sell the swords or whatever. Something that kind of like isn't really even in the game developer's control. So DZ brought up a good point when I had him on my channel. That's DZ from the BitBoy YouTube channel. You can check out that interview I did with him in full, or I've done some shorts from it too. But I asked him about play to earn games because I thought, I brought that theory up that I thought, well, this is the one that makes the most sense. Play to earn, I just don't see how that becomes sustainable, because at some point, like, where the money has to come from somewhere at some point, and it seems like the money would just come from selling more and more expensive NFTs, which is kind of what we saw with Townstar. Well, he brought up a good point though. Why would they ever do these NFTs the way I'm suggesting? They don't gain big game companies, they don't gain anything from that. Now, I did think of a counter, because for them, it's like, well, it's more lucrative for them. They've got people paying without verified assets where they can just change them, they can nerf them, they can do whatever they want. Like, why would they give up that control? It doesn't make sense to their bottom line. And like, it kind of makes sense. The only difference I can think of, but this isn't good for the consumer, if you sell them as NFTs, you can sell them for a much higher premium than if you just sell a regular in-game item. So at some point, it might make sense that that switch flips when people start becoming more appreciative of NFTs. But I kind of don't see that happening. So I'm thinking, like, I just don't know what the future of NFT gaming is, because right now it seems like the only benefit is to the companies, because they can sell really expensive NFTs. They can sell you items for a game that doesn't exist, which often happens. I mean, most of the games I cover have multiple seasons of an NFT and they're still in beta, right? Like, what game, name a regular game that doesn't? Now, maybe there are some that do that. I don't think so. I don't know. But it seems like usually you don't sell items for a game until the game is actually out. And then, of course, they're much more expensive. So I was thinking about all the games that I've tried out. And every game that I've tried out, it's more expensive. You're paying like a lot of money for these NFTs to play what's basically a pretty inferior game. And, none of these games are really like AAA. Now, shout out to HBAR, because they are creating a Triple H game, or at least there's a studio that they're partnering with who's doing that. That's awesome. But these are some of the doubts I'm having about play to earn gaming. And Townstar is part of that. So my conclusion with Townstar is I will be playing the game because I do want to earn those rewards. Now, one more thing to add, you can play Townstar for free. You don't have to buy an NFT. So if you want to just play it and have fun, and you can earn the NFT, you can earn some of those NFTs pretty easily. That's probably your best bet. And if you've already bought these NFTs with the hope of earning, well, we're really hoping that's going to turn back on. I would almost bet that it'll turn on like almost to the day that it went out in July, but I hope it's sooner, because really what they say is once Godot is on, it should be going. So that's my thoughts on Townstar. Hope you got something out of that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Townstar, on play to earn in general, on NFTs and games, everything you have to say. So let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm Frugal BC. Hope you stay safe out there. Hope the sound's okay, because I had my mic kind of far away. And as always, I'll see you in the future.